In the early days of the Clone Wars, not long after Anakin Skywalker is promoted to Jedi Knight, he serves as a mentor to a youngling before Ahsoka Tano was his Padawan officially. This transmission is going to explore this unique time in Anakin's life and look at Mill Alibeth's journey with the Force. Jedi Knight Anakin Skywalker is having a tough time finding his path without Obi-Wan Kenobi as his mentor. The two are still close. They remain good friends until Anakin's fall, but the dynamic has changed. In a lot of ways, their relationship is better. Obi-Wan filling the brother role rather than the father figure role, but that's something to explore at another time. Not only is Anakin without Obi-Wan as a mentor, but he's navigating the complexity of his secret marriage to Padme Amidala. Their relationship is great when they get to see each other and leave their responsibilities behind. However infrequent and brief those opportunities are. The Jedi Order is uneasy about being thrust into the Clone Wars serving as generals over the mysterious but ultimately necessary clone army. Anakin's confusion is escalated as he's incredibly capable, powerful, and impulsive. He's torn between duty and desire. Anakin is sent on a fairly routine task of guiding younglings. Not a task he's thrilled about, but he is determined to live up to his new title. The younglings are excited to go on The Gathering, that is their pilgrimage to Ilum to find their kyber crystal to build their first lightsabers. The younglings talk excitedly of excitement and adventure, except for Mill. Her talents in the Force are more attuned to the feelings of those around her. She's empathetic to a degree that affects her deeply. It overwhelms her. With the galaxy caught up in a war, she is feeling too much. She can't be excited about the Gathering because venturing out of the Jedi Temple conjures images of war and suffering that she can't take. Split away from the group, Anakin has a chance to really meet the young Zabrak girl. Instead of trying to force her to conform to the group dynamic or give her a hard time, he meets her at her level. He asks her what she's feeling. Mill admits some bold truths for a Jedi youngling. She says she does not want her lightsaber. She wants to help others. The real bomb drops when she says that she doesn't want to feel the Force anymore. Anakin may have been the best Jedi Knight Mill could have made this admission to. He is also very emotional and connects deeply to those that he cares about. His Force connection doesn't necessarily lead toward empathy, but we know how his story turns out because of his desires and attachments. He shares his own experiences with cutting himself off from the Force. After the death of his mother, he shut down. He tells Mill that cutting off the Force was emotionally devastating. He felt lost, numb, and deeply alone. Anakin emphasizes, without insisting, that the Force may be complex and painful, but it is essential, and when understood, it can be a comforting presence rather than a burden. He sees part of himself in the young girl. He gets an opportunity to reach back in time and instruct his younger, confused, scared self. Instead of reciting doctrine or chastising her for saying such a thing, he responds with understanding, validating her feelings. Anakin seamlessly slips into the role of mentor, offering the exact support and guidance he needed as a youngling. As someone who spends their life hiding the depth of their feelings, you could almost understand it if Anakin advised the poor girl to shut her connection off and insulate herself. He goes the other way. He not only advises her to not shut off her connection to the Force, but to lean into it. He says running from the Force would only lead to more turmoil. If she fully embraces the Force and nurtures her connection to it, it will guide and comfort her. This is huge for Mill's journey, but also tells us where Anakin is at this tumultuous time in his life. He sees his incredibly strong connection to the Force as a source of healing, strength, and clarity. If you're getting value or entertainment out of any of my transmissions, it would mean a lot if you would join the Remnant and subscribe. It could be very easy to lose sight of that with the galaxy at war and the Force being used more and more regularly for combat. Anakin and Mill skip the Gathering and go on a humanitarian mission. They travel to the planet Langston, that's in dire need of help after a Separatist attack. This shows Mill ways that the Jedi can be useful outside of combat. Although she's surrounded by pain and suffering, the acts of tending to the injured and comforting survivors after the attack calm her. She feels the currents of the Force guiding her in her humanitarian efforts. Her empathetic connection to the living Force allows her to bring serenity to those who need it most. She's able to tap into the needs of others so well that she can even diagnose ailments and injuries through the Force. The Force shows her different things not just through intuition, but she can actually physically see them, colors and auras around those in need, and it helps guide her in her care for them. Every case where she she understands and helps someone in need, she understands what her connection to the Force truly means. She still feels as much as she did before, but she can understand it and process it. She can now guide it. It's also no longer a burden, but a desire to help. This is also a reflection of Anakin. He always had a big heart and always wants to help others. The first day he meets Qui-Gon Jinn, Padme Amidala, and Jar Jar Binks, he puts his life on the line in a dangerous pod race to help them with no thought of receiving anything in return. Anakin's aware of this connection and also sees some of Padme in the youngling. The Jedi Council may not have liked the way Anakin handles the situation, but the results speak volumes. If he tried to push Jedi doctrine, this Jedi youngling might have lost her way entirely. The trust grows deeper between Mill and Anakin when she asks why it seems like the Jedi Order is embracing the growing war. Anakin shares these doubts of the Order's direction and doesn't try to sugarcoat it. He simply tells her that he doesn't have an answer. Mill's questioning of the Order and the Force have Anakin looking inward, reawakening his own principles. As the story progresses, events conspire and we get to see Anakin, the mentor, in a more familiar way, like we would see him in the Clone Wars with Ahsoka. Anakin and Obi-Wan are no longer officially bound, but their friendship keeps them tethered. Before they went on their separate missions, they exchanged discreet communicators. Obi-Wan's quest on Cato Nemoidia is an effort to stop more war. When he runs into trouble, Anakin wants to go rogue and help. He doesn't intend for Mill to join him in breaking the rules and going to help Obi-Wan. She sees it as a chance to stop more war from spreading, which is worth any risk. She's staying true to herself and not craving action-adventure. Rather, she is following the principles of what the Jedi Order should be. Anakin's concerned for her safety, but caves and lets her go along on the mission. The rule-breaking Anakin, who wants to keep those close to him safe, but trusting them to follow their own path, emerges. Mill accompanies him to help his former master. Don't worry, they have R2 with them. The mission that follows is classic Star Wars and a lot of fun. I won't go into every detail since this is about Anakin and Mill's mutual understanding of each other and their connections to the Force. Obi-Wan is in trouble. He's caught up in a political mess that could mean more systems joining the war on the side of the Confederacy. Despite the immediate danger to his friend, Anakin and Mill focus on a larger plot. Several bombs are placed in key areas of Cato Nemoidia's capital city. Anakin puts his personal desire to save his one friend aside and focuses on the bigger picture. This shows the same level of empathy that he's guiding Mill in. He's going to reduce more suffering instead of helping someone personal to him. Mill's ability to sense and literally see pain in others is crucial in assisting R2-D2's scans to find the bombs. Her connection to the emotions of others is even more helpful when the saboteur is confronted. Their mood swings are wild. Mill clues Anakin and Obi-Wan into the exact feelings, which helps them anticipate their opponent's next move. Yes, I am being a little bit vague at this point to not spoil the mission, while still conveying the importance of Mill's journey and her involvement in said mission. We get to see more aspects of the Anakin we would see in the Clone Wars when he officially has a Padawan. He's immensely protective. He goes toe-to-toe with Asajj Ventress, and Ventress poses a major physical threat. Even more than a physical threat, Ventress then switches tactics. She tries to play on Mill's uncertainty in the Force and the Jedi Order. She offers the youngling a different path, obviously meaning the dark side. If Asajj had gotten to Mill when she first left for the Gathering rather than Anakin leveling with her, this may have worked. Mill very well may have fallen to the dark side. Fortunately, Mill has made peace with the Force and is working on it rather than fighting it. After their ordeal, Mill delivers a great line that sums up what the Jedi should have been doing during the war. Hear them, each of these people. They may not matter to governments when the galaxy is at war, but they should matter to us. Mill has changed a lot in a short period of time. When debriefing with Anakin, Obi-Wan, and Master Yoda, Mill shocks everyone, Anakin most of all. She says that she feels the Force, but she has no desire to ever become a Jedi Knight. Anakin, although stunned, supports Mill in her choice and advises the Jedi Masters with him that they trust Mill's instincts to follow her own path. Yoda agrees and suggests that Mill join Jedi healer Rig Nima, intending to the war wounded. Mill leaves the Jedi Temple's traditional regiment of training Jedi Knights behind and embarks on her own path, listening to the living Force. This moment is profound in her making her own choice after experiencing the type of adventure that her peers think that they want. It strikes a different chord when you consider Anakin's only official Padawan, Ahsoka Tano, chooses her own path as well a few years later when she also walks away from the Order, though Ahsoka's is a more clean cut. Before she leaves, Mill wants to say goodbye to Anakin. She finds him putting on armor that he would barely take off for the years to come. This differing of paths really shows the split in the Jedi ideal compared to their reality. Mill feels a storm inside Anakin. She tries to warn him that he doesn't always have to push himself to take on the weight of the galaxy and always play the hero. She's afraid, without rest or balance, that he could burn himself from the inside out. This warning also hits with fans, as we know that she's right. I loved this dynamic between Anakin and Mill. She was treated like a Padawan, though briefly and unofficially, but seeing Anakin as a Jedi Knight who is optimistic, life-affirming, and genuinely good, so much of Anakin's story focuses on his time at war and his fall to the dark side becoming Darth Vader. Of course, that makes sense. While I love Obi-Wan as a character, and he did do a fine job as a master, he did the best he could, this side of Anakin made me think of the Anakin who would have stuck around if Qui-Gon Jinn had been his master. Not only that, but it shows more of the positive influences that his relationship with Padme has, even though it is strictly forbidden. The primary conversation on that topic is always in Anakin loving her in a possessive way and giving into Sidious's temptations in an attempt to save her life. The time Anakin spends with Mill gets him ready and signifies to the Jedi Council that he's ready for a challenging Padawan like Ahsoka Tano. I loved getting this deeper understanding of such a major character. If you want the full story, and I really recommend that you do, check out Brotherhood by Mike Chen. And then check out this video next for more Star Wars lore.